Okay, I'm gonna just start this before I lose the nerve. Sorry guys, it's been a while. I don't think I've ever done a video where I'm just standing in front of something and just talking. It's really mostly been vlogging, but I feel like for the past few months I've just been doing random things, and a lot of people have been asking me questions about what's going on with my life, like what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, where I've been. It's not that I feel like I owe anyone an explanation, it's just, I don't know, I just feel like maybe I should just talk it out and talk about what I'm doing. The main reason I'm doing this video is to talk about school. Just some background information. Let's go back to undergrad. So in undergrad, fresh out of high school, thought I wanted to be a doctor, thought I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I thought I knew exactly what classes I need to take, but I didn't know anything. I was kind of like on my own. I thought I had to like take all these certain classes. I thought I had to major in something particular to go into medicine. So I picked microbiology because it sounded cool and it had all the prereqs that I needed to get into med school. Fast forward 4 years later, I'm at this really big university. Every class has like 300 people in it. There's no like one-on-one communication with the professor. You go to office hours and the professor's like, what can I do? I can't do anything for you. Even though I worked really hard, I studied really hard, I made basic grades, as in like I made A's and B's and a few C's in my science classes. I've never been that person that just anything came easy to me, ever. So all through high school I used to like study really hard to get good grades on tests, and especially in college I really had to study. Like I said, going to a big college, getting distracted, trying to find yourself, trying to figure out where you fit in. I got distracted, basically. I got distracted from my goal a little bit, and junior year I started having like major stress and anxiety about applying to school. Later on, I realized that undergrads don't know what the heck they're talking about. Like, you talk to other people in your class, like, yeah, you need to take the MCAT, like, ASAP. You need to get this score, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. You have to have this much clinical experience, you have to have this GPA, you have to talk to this doctor, you need this recommendation letters, or else you're not going to get in. I once knew a guy that had like a 30-something on his MCAT and all this stuff, and he still didn't get it. I'm sure anyone who's ever been where I am right now has so many stories, right? So I'm freaking out. It's junior year, and I'm like freaking out because like I don't feel ready to do any of that. Like, I didn't start studying for my MCAT. I didn't know what schools I wanted to go to. My GPA was horrible because, I took classes that were really hard. I tell people my GPA that aren't science majors, they're like, that's not bad. And I was like, yeah, but it's not. Technically, it's not bad. If it's above a 3, it's not bad, but it's not competitive. I'm not gonna lie, I started to get really discouraged. Like, really discouraged. There was a particular incident when I remember junior year when I was stressed about studying, and someone, overheard me like whining about it, and they're like, well, Hawa, you're black. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get in. And that really, really bothered me because I was just sick of hearing that thing about like, well, schools need diversity. Affirmative action is a thing. Don't worry about studying. You're gonna get in. You'll be fine. Which is not the case. That's like a different story and a different topic and a different video in itself. Anyway, point is, I graduated. Didn't apply junior year, meaning that I had to take a gap year. I remember one day I came home and I was so upset, and my mom was like, what's wrong? And the second she said what's wrong, I just like broke down. I literally just had a breakdown. I started crying. I was like, I don't know. It was bad. And she was like, how what? You don't have to apply this year. It's gonna be okay. So, I took a gap year. I decided to study every single day while I was a scribe. So I was a scribe in the ER. And I studied every single day that summer, like 4 months maybe. Every single day I would go to the library, study. I would go to work. I worked in a lab. I would work in the lab for like 2 hours, go straight to the library, stay there all day till the nighttime, and come home, do it over and over. I think I only took breaks on like the weekend. The day came, I took the MCAT, didn't do well. Again, you tell people you're scoring the MCAT and they're like, that's not bad. But I was like, well, it's not about grades, it's not about points, it's about percentiles, blah, blah, blah. Applied to med school, didn't get in. The reason I feel like I'm making this is because I feel like a lot of people are kind of in that same boat that I'm in right now, or they're in that boat right now. I kept getting rejections, and I applied a lot of places. I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about rejection, and I said what really helped me was in my email, I made a folder. I titled it Rejections. And every time I got a rejection, I would read it, let myself be upset for like 3 minutes, sulk, whatever I wanted, and then I put it in that rejection folder and just not think about it, and move on to the next one. And that happened a lot, so much. A whole year passes, I work as a scribe, it's time to apply again. So I retook the MCAT, LOL, I got the same grade. And people started doing this thing where like, how they would see me, you know, I'd go to the masjid or whatever, go to like some social event in community, and people, I remember one lady was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm just working, you know, trying to figure life out. And she was like, you're supposed to be in med school right now. And I said, if I was supposed to be in med school, I would be in med school. You know? I'm supposed to be here. It kind of like made me realize, yeah, you're right. I was just so worried about what people were gonna think and like comparing myself to other people, and that's a big problem in itself. Don't compare yourself to other people, it's a slippery slope. I was like, you know, kind of lost. I was talking to one of my friends and she was telling me about how she was applying for seminary school. And by the way, the seminary school is in the city that I live in. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. I mean, like, I have already obviously known about the seminary school because it's in the city I live in. I knew people that had went to it. And, you know, when I heard that other people were doing it, I was like, oh, that's good for them. That's a good decision for them, good for them. But never did it dawn on me that I would ever do it for myself. And she was like, I'm doing it, you should apply. Even though this was like way past the application deadline, I don't know. I just was like, maybe I should. Maybe I should. Ramadan had just passed. I felt like I got nothing out of it because I was just working and stressing out and like having panic attacks about life. So I apply, I get in, and honestly, it's the best decision I've ever made. Best decision I've ever made. As in, I don't know, it's really hard to describe. Here I was stressing out so much, like stressing so much about what I thought I was supposed to do in life. And you know, don't get me wrong, like my parents, alhamdulillah, they never ever pushed me to medicine. This was just always something that I wanted to do. I feel like if today or tomorrow I was just like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, they'd be like, alright, cool. Like, they wouldn't mind. Sometimes when you're like the first person in your family to go to college, and I don't know if other people feel this, but maybe if you know you feel this, you can like tell me. But I just feel like when you're African American, when you're black, there's so much pressure for you to succeed. Like, you know, like, do us proud. I remember one time, it was like my sophomore year of high school, and I was in class, and we had this substitute teacher that came in, and she's like supposed to just give us busy work, you know, and everyone's sitting there doing their busy work, and she like calls me up to her desk. So I go up, and she like grills me. She's like, what's your name? How old are you? What are you interested in doing? And I was like, oh, by the way, the substitute teacher was black. I don't know if I said that. So she's black, right? And she calls me up and she asks me my name and like who my dad is. And it's just, Knoxville's a really small city, so pretty much all the black people know each other. So she asked me all this stuff, and she asked me what I want to do. And I told her, you know, I want to be a doctor. And she was like, listen, you can do it. You're gonna make all of us proud. You're gonna go to college. You're gonna ace all those exams, and I know you can do it. And that was good. That was like a really good push I needed. But I was like, oh God, that's a lot of pressure. So here I was, you know, working so hard to get to where I thought I needed to be, but I was not really stopping to think about the reasons. It's called Taysir Seminary here in Knoxville, and Taysir is about spiritual cultivation. So there's a lot of other seminary schools in America. Well, not a lot. I guess, you know, there's Sallam, there's Baina, there's Zaytuna. And honestly, I was really considering going to Qalam because, like, my friend that went there, and she was like, how will you totally go? My mom wanted me to go. And then last minute, I was like, what about Taysir? So I go to Taysir, which is here, and it's, obviously we learn fiqh, we learn aqidah, we learn, like, tajweed, Quran, Arabi, methodology, like, you know, Ghazali and stuff like that. But one of my favorite classes, oh yeah, and we have Islam in America class, which is about like current events and like Islamic history, actually a lot about black history. The main focus of Taysir is suluk, which is spiritual cultivation. So it's kind of like, it's about exposing yourself, basically. It's about making you think deeper about yourself and trying to combat, you know, those different levels of yourself. And people who know about this know there's like a higher self, a real self, and then there's like a lower self and all that, those things like that. And it's about like making yourself better from the inside out. So I started to realize, like, you know, I was putting so much importance on things that didn't matter. And I was like doing things for the wrong reasons. And that's just like a realization I came to for myself on my, like, you know, with the help of my instructors and just like through the classes. And like it affects everyone differently. I was gonna do another video where I just like show you guys the campus and like talk about the classes more and like maybe introduce you to some of my classmates and things like that, like a vlog. But I was gonna try to do that next week. But yeah, so that happened, and there's this thing that we do at Taysir called the Ribat. It's kind of like i'tikaf, but not really, but kind of like i'tikaf, but it's not the masjid, it's on campus. And you spend the night there for like 2 days, and you're not supposed to like be on your phone, you're not supposed to talk more than necessary. Only thing you're supposed to do is like do ibadah. So we'd sleep a little bit, wake up, pray, make dua. Some people who might know me might be like, yeah, that's like, of course Hawa did it, but really no. Like I feel like a lot of times people who know me in like this small city of mine expect certain things because of, you know, they might know me. But it wasn't an easy decision, and it wasn't a natural decision. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of hard work. Spending 2 nights in a day or 2 days in a night just doing ibadah sounds extreme, because it is. Like, it's not easy. There's this analogy that a sheikh likes to use in class, and he says that whenever you're like cleaning out an abandoned house, like imagine an abandoned house full of cobwebs, it's dusty, you know? When you go in there and you start like trying to sweep it up, all that dust is just going to go in the air. It's just going to be flying around. It's just going to be everywhere. And you're going to start sneezing. You're going to start coughing. It's going to be hard to breathe. It's going to be more difficult, right? And I felt like for a while, I was like in that stage where I was just like the abandoned house. Everything was just like dirty and messed up on the inside, but I was fine with it. Because, you know, I just left it, didn't touch it, didn't challenge myself, was complacent. And then you go in, you start stirring up the dust, and it's like hard. And you know, you can't breathe and everything. You feel like, oh, I'm trying to do something good. Why is this so hard? And then slowly I felt like I was getting to that stage, you know, where the dust starts to be cleaned out and settles, and like it's kind of clean, right? You know, I applied to grad school, and I wasn't, honest to God, was not expecting anything. I was just like, I'm just gonna apply and see what happens. So after the ribat is over, that same night I go back home, and I get a letter, and my dad's like, you got mail. And I opened the letter, and it's an acceptance. And when I saw the envelope initially, I was like, oh, I didn't get it. And my dad was like, why would you say that? Just open it. So I opened it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I got in. This is a big deal for me. Because, I don't know, man. I didn't think I would. Like, at all. And I honestly was starting to give up a little bit. And this video isn't supposed to be about, like, you know, pushing yourself and like go to school and like the importance of grad school or whatever. This is what I wanted. Like I made a lot of dua for it. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, like Allah was on my side. You know, I just like, there was a point where I was like I decided, I was like, I'm not worrying about anything that I can't control anymore. And I would feel myself like start to try to worry about it. And like, no. I'm not worrying. I'm not gonna worry about it because I can't control it. This happened, and this is like a big deal for me. If there's anything that I want anyone to get from this video, it's that I feel like this is like a stressful time. If you're like a junior, if you're a senior, if you just graduated, if you're in college, if you're trying to figure out where you want to go, what you want to do, just some advice. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. That's such a slippery slope. I had classmates and, you know, friends who I would try to compare myself to, and I would just end up feeling so horrible about myself. You're your biggest competitor. Just, you know, make yourself better and do things for yourself. Number 2, try not to stress about it. Like, I know that's really hard, but try. And number 3, just, you know, whether you're Muslim, whether you're not Muslim, I don't know, just trust in a higher power. Because ultimately, you know, you're going to look back at this in like 30 years or 20 years or 10 years. You're just going to be like, man, why was I stressing out so much, you know? We've been there. A lot of people have been there. A lot of people have done that and they've survived. You can survive. It's gonna be okay. So that's just me and what I've been doing for the past 5 months. I loved seminary school. I'm excited for the future. I still plan on doing videos and making vlogs and like hopefully like taking you guys to the next journey. I feel like for like the next step in this journey, I feel like there are people who have been like watching my videos since I was in undergrad, which is hilarious because sometimes I look back on those videos and I cringe so hard. But thank you if you've been watching that long. I appreciate it. I do. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask me. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with answering questions as long as, like, you know, it's within my capacity. Like, if you have questions about TSU or seminary, and I know I got some questions about, sorry I didn't answer them in this video, but I plan on answering them in the next video, about, like, our curriculum and how more information you can find about it. But if you watched this till the end, thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and Assalamu alaikum.